Away and welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about my experience with surgeons in trying to find the right one to do my breast augmentation. There have been struggles. Yes, for those of you who are new to the channel, I am getting top surgery. In this country, there is a 25-year waiting list for gender affirming surgeries, and medical insurance and medical aids do not cover it at all. So I am crowdfunding for it. The link to donate is in the description of this video. So if you can, please consider donating and sharing it in your networks. Away. I mean, it's quite appropriate that I'm filming this video right now because I literally just got out of an interview with Newsroom Africa to talk about what my experience has been in the public healthcare system with gender affirming care, both hormonal care and surgical care. And this is, I guess, an appropriate segue into this video. So now just to go back a little bit, I have been on hormones for the last 5 years. I did a kind of update around that in my last video, so you can go and check that out as well. But effectively, I was waiting for the hormones to have the maximum impact and effect on my body, particularly around breast growth, around feminization in terms of fat distribution, before I opted to do any kind of surgical procedures. So this is where we are right now. I'm crowdfunding for my top surgery and getting in contact with surgeons about who may or may not be the best person to perform said surgery on me, on my body. Yeah, and let me tell you that it has been hella difficult in my communication with these surgeons. I mean, so me being me, doing my homework around a number of things, I had conversations with people around who may potentially be the right person. I then also sent out a whole bunch of emails to a whole bunch of surgeons, both here in Cape Town and in Johannesburg, to try and get a sense of what the landscape looks like and what the options are, and also what the costing is for breast augmentation. Now, after sending out all of these emails, these are some of the responses that I got. Apologies, we refer patient to our expert colleague who specializes in this field. We have worked with trans clients before, performed breast augmentation specifically. However, we are not experts in this field. Unfortunately, we do not have any experience working with trans clients before and suggest that you contact expert in Cape Town. I have not done any gender affirming surgeries before, including breast augmentation. I do recommend finding somebody who has a specific interest in it and can treat you through your entire journey. Okay, now this is just a handful of them who had responded to my emails. I had sent out way more emails than this. Some of them just completely blue ticked me. It is extraordinary to me how there is this hesitation to perform breast augmentation on trans women. So I had done my homework around this, and anatomically there is very, very little difference between a transgender woman's chest and a cisgender woman's chest. So the way that they perform the surgery as a kind of standard way of doing it, I mean, there are different techniques, but one that a lot of surgeons are opting for is where they place the implant underneath the muscle tissue of the chest, right? So they make an incision and then that's where they insert the prosthesis. So both trans women and cisgender women have muscles on their chest as part of, biological function, because we need them in order to, do certain basic things, right? And there may be, varying degrees of breast tissue on top of that muscle. But that isn't really a thing. In watching a number of surgeons, both on YouTube, reading through their websites, who have performed procedures on trans people, particularly breast augmentation, there is very, very little anatomical difference, honestly, except maybe the degree of muscle on that chest, right? So the sense that I'm getting is that there is this hesitation with surgeons to perform breast augmentation on trans women because, I don't know. I mean, that said, I do appreciate that somebody's being upfront with me about, not necessarily having performed a similar procedure on trans women, and that you are upfront and you are transparent that you don't have, expertise in the area. But there are so many of these surgeons who perform breast augmentation for a living. Like, these plastic surgeons that's their bread and butter, right? And so with the little anatomical difference between me and another cisgender woman pretty much being almost the same, like, you know? And so really it does become a little bit infuriating, because this speaks to how healthcare is so not accessible for trans people. So we're already facing like multiple levels of discrimination, like on a day-to-day basis, on a kind of societal level. Then we're facing additional discrimination in the healthcare sector. Then there are already like resources that aren't allocated to us, making accessing that difficult. And then layered on top of that, for those of us who want to access surgeries, for those surgeons who are experts in breast augmentation, who do this for a living, which it is their staple, that even those specialists don't want to perform the procedure. Look, that said, I did find a number of surgeons who were very much keen and very much on board and were just like, yeah, let's do this. I'd like effectively have to just come in for a consultation, and within 2 weeks I'd be able to get my surgery. So in terms of those who were keen to do it and available to do it, like, you can get it like this, you know, if you have the money. But for many of us, we don't have the resources and the money, so we have to do things like, you know, crowdfund. Again, little reminder that the link is in the description to donate if you can. I mean, look, I've also had a number of conversations with a number of people who have given me direct references, direct recommendations about who to see about my surgery. So I'm very, very grateful for that. So I am kind of in the know, in the loop around who would be the best person to do this. For me, that isn't necessarily the big thing right now. The big thing for me is raising the funds for it effectively, because I guess it's kind of useless for me to be able to have a surgeon and find the best person to do this, but everything hinges on your ability to pay them, and they won't you know, accept anything like, oh, I'll pay it later. Like, you have to be like literally upfront with the money before you can effectively have your procedure done. Like, there is so much work that needs to be done in the healthcare system, and I guess maybe also specifically in the public healthcare system, just around making healthcare for trans people just like more accessible and more like trans friendly. Like, damn. I mean, look, I know I kind of bashed these surgeons who were kind of you know, referring me or pointing me off to like different surgeons who are experts, you know, I guess in this area. But I do want to say, you know, thank you for taking the time to respond to me. Like, I do appreciate that. I think for me, just as, you know, context around what healthcare looks like for trans people, what surgeries look like for trans people, and our ability to access that there are literally only like a handful of people who are able to do this for us. And so it is incredibly difficult, and it is hella stressful and anxiety producing, honestly. Okay, cool. I hope this video was helpful in some kind of way to give you a bit of a insight into what the experience is like if you're trying to find, I guess, gender affirming surgeons who are able to perform specifically breast augmentation if you're a trans woman. So yeah, hope this was helpful. If you've been enjoying this content, please remember to hit that subscribe button and turn the bell on for notifications to stay in the loop for upcoming videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.